Now, 2 weeks ago, something happened in my life that changed me, that scarred me in a way. And so we have a kitchen, I'm sure like most of you, and we have this little corner in this little kitchen, all right? So that corner, don't know why, but it's become my spot. It's become my spot, all right? So this little corner, it's back here in the kitchen, and I kind of sit there in this corner, and this is where I have conversations with Brianna. It's where I have conversations with the kids. I just like this corner. I'm not sure why. I just kind of hang out there, and we talk, and we cut up. 2 weeks ago, I was hanging out in my corner, talking, visiting, hanging out, and we have a coffee pot. And the coffee pot was there, and for whatever reason, the coffee pot was brewing and making coffee. And so I'm sitting there talking to Brianna, and for whatever reason, I put my arm on top of the coffee pot. Why did I put my arm on top of the coffee pot? I don't know. It's not part of the story. Back off, all right? So I put my arm on top of the coffee pot. Now, the way this coffee pot is designed, the steam comes out the top of this coffee pot. And so when I put my arm on top of it, and now steam burn, I don't know if you've been burned by steam in a while, it doesn't burn instantly, like it bakes your skin, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you're on fire type of deal. And so all of a sudden I'm going, what is going on? And this steam burn, and it's healed up nicely, but it blistered, and it hurt like awful. And I kind of said some things, I'm not going to mention here in church. I was like, oh, it's hot. And so, oh, better edit that out for 11 o'clock. All right, so it burned like crazy. And Brianna's like, what? I was like, oh my goodness, I burned it. And so I got so mad. I took the coffee pot, I unplugged it, and I threw it off the back porch and said, coffee pots are the worst. And I swore off coffee for the rest of my life. Now, I go, wow, that hurt, and went in the back and put some stuff on there and let it heal up. Now, I still use the coffee pot. In fact, this morning I had 2 cups of coffee from the exact same coffee pot that burned me. Now, do I think it's a poor design that they put steam up there? I do, but I probably should not have put my arm on top of the coffee pot. I mean, so there's a little bit of fault for everybody in this story. I share that story with you because I think when it comes to human relationships, when it comes to friendships, you and I, we get burned, metaphorically speaking, by friends. They disappoint us. They lie to us. They make a promise that they break. They throw us under the bus. They do things that we get burned. And our natural instinct is to go, humans are the worst. People are the worst. Friends are the worst. And you just don't want to have any in-depth relationship, in-depth friendships. And so when it comes to people in your life, honestly, it's way easier, neater, and cleaner just to keep everybody at arm's length. And so, yeah, you might have customers or clients, or you're obviously around people here today, but you don't ever let anybody inside of your life because 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, somebody hurt you, somebody burned you, and it left a scar. And now, man, when it comes to people in your mind, people are the worst, and you just deal with them when you have to because you're in sales or because of whatever business that you're in or you're a teacher or whatever. But when it comes to in-depth relationships, when it comes to in-depth friendships, when it comes to allowing people into your life, it's just easier to keep everybody at an arm's length. And if you've ever been hurt by people, if you've ever been disappointed, if you've ever been let down by individuals, you need to understand that you're in good company. Because there's this man named Jesus that walked the earth, that came from heaven, walked the earth, was around people, had in-depth friendships, and those that were closest to him hurt him. Those that were closest to him sold him out. Those that were closest to him deserted him there in the moment that he needed the most. But Jesus, God on earth, saw the value and knew the value, the purpose, the meaning of in-depth friendships and relationships. If you got a Bible, go ahead and grab it. I need you to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 4. And we're walking through this book of Ecclesiastes. If you're new here, a guy named King Solomon wrote it. Solomon was super wealthy, powerful king, and explored all that life had to explore, and just talks about things that he finds that are meaningless, things that are without purpose, things that are without point. And he explores all these different facets of life, but then he talks about things that are meaningful, things that do have purpose, things that do benefit And he writes this very fascinating section about relationships, about friendships. Now, before he writes Ecclesiastes chapter 4, Solomon wrote a majority of a book called Proverbs, and he writes a lot about friendships. And I just want to read some of the things to set up Ecclesiastes chapter 4. So in Proverbs, he would say this about friends. He would say, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Many will say they are loyal friends, but who can find one who is truly reliable? And he said there are, quote unquote, friends who destroy each other, but a real friend sticks closer than a brother. So he would write about the value of friendships. As the king, he had a very unique position of looking at relationships and friendships. And as the king, everybody would want to be around the king. And everybody would want to be near the king, because if you're near the king, if you're at the king's table, man, good things happen, things benefited you. But Solomon would know that you could be surrounded by a crowd of people and still feel isolated and still feel all alone. And he would write about isolation being full of less meaning and less hope and less purpose than relationships. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 7. He says, I observed yet another example of something meaningless under the sun. This is the case of a man who is all alone, without a child or a brother, yet who works hard to gain as much wealth as he can. But then he asks himself, who am I working for? Why am I giving up so much pleasure now? It is all so meaningless and depressing. It's a man who worked really hard, didn't have anybody around him, and so instead of going out and finding friends and finding a relationship, he works even harder, works even longer, makes even more money, but then comes in and goes, it just feels meaningless. It just feels pointless. And then he flips it. Look what happens in verse 9. He says, two people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other can reach out and help, but someone who falls alone is in real trouble. Likewise, two people lying close together can keep each other warm, but how can one be warm alone? A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two standing back to back can stand back to back and conquer. Three are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. So he talks about this man that did not have anybody around him, works really, really hard, makes a lot of money, goes, it's kind of meaningless. Then he goes, no, well, look, let me tell you about the value of friendship, of real friendship, that the two are better than one. Because if one falls, the other can reach out and help. When one is cold, the other can come close and warm him up. When one is being attacked, the other can stand back to back and conquer and defeat. And what's interesting is that when Solomon talks about friendship, he talks about the messiness of friendship. Talks about somebody needing help, somebody that is cold and needing warm, somebody that is being attacked. He doesn't talk about, hey, listen, let me tell you about real friends. When one person goes on a beach vacation, a real friend always tags along. When one person wins the lottery, a real friend takes 20%. No. He talks about the messiness and the brokenness and the hardships and the difficulties. That is friendship. When one person stumbles, a real friend is there. When one person is cold, a real friend is there. When one person is being attacked, a real friend is there, not through just the highs and the great times and the wonderful moments, but through the loneliness and through the being attacked and through needing help. And so here's what he's grasping just in this little section I want you to understand is that the messiness of real friendship, it's worth the meaning that is forged from it. The messiness of real friendship, like going in and helping somebody out, they're being close and making somebody better, standing back to back. He goes, the messiness that you find yourself in a real friend, it is so worth the meaning that is forged from it. And I say forged from it because he goes, iron sharpens iron. So one friend sharpens another. The lonely man who worked hard and gained all the money he could ever want comes to the end of his life and goes, there's just nobody around to enjoy it with. But he goes, two are better off than one. In fact, three, a triple braided cord is not easily broken. The messiness of real friendship is worth the meaning that is forged from it. Now I want to go in and just kind of dive into a few of these points and point out what a real friend is. I want you to go back and look at verse 10. Look at verse 10. It says, if one person falls, the other can reach out and help. First idea is this, is real friends reach out to help. Real friends reach out to help. They are there when you trip and fall. They are there when they walk out on you after 20 years of marriage. They are there for you when you get fired. They are there for you when you go bankrupt. They are there for you when you're in the hospital. Real friends reach out to help. They're not just there when the good times are happening or when you got the season tickets or when you got the boat or you got the lake house. They are there. Real friends are there to reach out to help. When you stumble and fall, a real friend has a hand out and says, I'm here to help. I'm not going anywhere. And there's an interesting story found in John chapter 6. And in my opinion, other than the cross, it is one of the saddest moments that you will see Jesus experience in the Gospels. John chapter 6, he's there, large crowds around him, and they love to be around Jesus because he fed them and he did miracles. All right, so it was like a dinner theater for these people. And they got a show and they got free food, and so they're there to large crowds gather around Jesus. And then Jesus begins to teach about some very difficult things. And in John chapter 6, a very sad verse, it says, one by one, they begin to leave because, man, they got really weird really fast with Jesus. And then Jesus turns to his 12 and goes, are you also going to leave? In other words, are you just here for the free food and the free show? The quote unquote friends, they will be around when life is good, when you get the promotion, when you get the season tickets, when you get the secondary house, when things are going well. But a real friend is there when everybody else walks away. A real friend is there when you walk in failure, when you walk in disappointment, when you walk in embarrassment. A real friend is there to reach out and help. When I say the word, oh no, friend, I'm hoping you know what I'm talking about. Do you ever have those people, and I'm gonna call them the oh no people, but you just don't wanna be an oh no person. I'm gonna just say that before I describe an oh no person. Some of these people, you know exactly what I'm talking about. An oh no person is that you're there in a room and this person walks in and the first thought in your mind is, oh no. Like when you see their name pop up on your cell phone on caller ID, you're just going, oh no. If you're at a party and someone goes, hey, so-and-so's stopping by later at the party, you're going, oh no. If you're at a job and it goes, hey, so-and-so's applying to get a job here, you go, I'm leaving. I mean, that job. Now, if you don't know what an oh no person is, you might be the oh no person we're all talking about. I'm just going to say that. But the oh no person is only there when it's good for them. They show up and they only want to show up when things are going well, when you're on top of the world. They reach out when they need something. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The only time they ever call is when they need something. When they need a connection, when they need some influence, when they need a little bit of money, when they need you to help them get a job. They only call, they only reach out when they need help. Solomon's going, a real friend reaches out when you need help. Calls just to check in. Hey, let's go to lunch, let's go to coffee. I don't need anything. I just want to see how you're doing. I know things are tense at home. I know a certain kid is struggling at school. I know you went to the doctor last week. I'm just here to help. That's what a real friend does. They reach out to help when nobody else does. When everybody else walks away, the real friend has the arm reached out and says, I'm here to help. Second idea I want you to look at. I want you to look at verse 11. Verse 11. It says, likewise, two people lying close together can keep each other warm, but how can one be warm alone? Now, if you read that at first and you're new to church, you're going, man, this is getting weird really, really fast, all right? So let me just describe it to you this way. Two people coming together with their cold, the heat, man, they warm each other up. Let me just describe it for you this way. The two people come together, the cold and the warm one comes in. The warm one passes the body heat and warms the other person when they're cold. Or in other words, it makes the cold person better. It passes something to them that they need. They go from being cold to being warm. And so what I want you to grasp and understand is that real friends make you a better person. When they are around, you are in their vicinity or in their circle, they make you a better person. They make you a better husband. They make you a better wife, a better mom, a better dad, a better employee, a better boss, a better leader. They make you more generous. They make you more kind. They make you more patient. They make you a better follower of Jesus. They make you a better person in general. A real friend challenges you, they inspire you, they ask you difficult questions, they encourage you, but when they come close, you become a better person because they are around. And if when somebody comes into your life, all of a sudden you find yourself drinking more than you should, losing your temper more than you should, snapping at your husband, at your wife, or at your kids, grumbling, complaining, if you find your attitude and your things, if you find your walk with Jesus slipping backwards and backwards from that person around, then that is not a real friend that you need to keep close into your life. Because a real friend, man, they're going to ask you difficult questions. They're going to inspire you to be a better person. They're going to challenge you. They're going to encourage you. They're going to make you a better person. And those are the type of people that you want inside your life. Real friends make you a better person. As Solomon said, iron sharpens iron. It's not iron dulls the other iron. It sharpens it. It makes it better. And if when that person walks in, it begins to dull your senses to the things of God, then that is not a real friend that you need to keep close inside your life. It's an acquaintance. It's somebody that you may be around, but it is not somebody that is a real friend. That's someone that you need to keep close and personally in your life. Real friends make you a better person. They make you a better follower of Jesus. They make you a better leader, a better husband, a better wife, a better mom, a better dad. And they do that by so many ways. They'll ask you difficult questions. They'll come over and challenge you on things. They'll inspire you. They will encourage you. And let me just give you a free tip in life. You need at least one person in your life that is that constant encourager. Man, you need encouragement. I need encouragement. So you need to find somebody in your life, and it's not going to be everybody because everybody has different skill sets. Some people in your life, man, they're inspirational, and you're going to see them and they're going to inspire you. Some people, they're going to ask you difficult questions or they're going to help solve problems that you have. But there are people that you need to have in your life that are just those constant encouragers, that they're always upbeat, they're always positive, they always see the best in everything. And if ever you're having a bad day, let me just tell you a person that you need to contact. The person that you need to contact, if you're here, even if you're not at this church, you still need to contact this person. It's the person I contact constantly whenever I'm having a bad day. The person that you need to contact, email, call the church, and you need to ask for one of our staff members. His name is Nathan Castleberry. Yeah, now, if you don't know Nathan, he was the guy up here when Sean was singing and backed away. Nathan comes up here, and you think he's preaching, and then all of a sudden he's singing, all right? Yeah, blew me and Brianna away. I was like, what is he doing? But Nathan is that guy. Now, let me tell you about Nathan. Nathan's spiritual gift is the spiritual gift of encouragement. Nathan, I've never seen Nathan have a bad day. And so if you're having a bad day, you need to call him. I call him up at least once a week and just go, hey, Nathan, tell me something good's going on. Well, what do you mean? Oh, well, what's going on? Give me something exciting. I mean, he will just rattle off like 10 things going on. I'm like going, this is like the best day I've ever had. Whenever you meet Nathan, he'll talk about people that he's met. And I've heard this statement come out multiple times. Hey, I met so-and-so today, Chris. Chris, I think they're my new best friend. And the thing about Nathan is he's genuinely sincere, like he thinks they're his new best friend. And so if you're having a bad day and you're here today, the good news is Nathan is standing out there in the lobby somewhere and you're going, hey, what's his name on stage said to come find you. I'm having a bad day. I promise you, you will leave having the greatest day ever. Now, you don't want to come to me if you're having a bad day. I've got other spiritual gifts, but if you come to me and go, Chris, I'm having a bad day, I'm going to say, join the club. Me too. I'm having a bad, we got problems we got to solve. That's going to be, if you got a problem you want to solve or something like that, well, we can talk. But, man, you need somebody in your life that is someone that when they come in, man, they're the opposite of the oh-no person. You're going, oh, my goodness, like you're attracted to them as a magnet going, man, I want to know something good. I need some encouragement in my life. Have people in your life that make you a better person. And then the last one, and this is interesting, and this is, look at verse 12. A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Last idea about real friends is this: is real friends have your back. Real friends have your back. Just by a show of hands, I'm just curious, how many of you are like me and that you've been thrown under the bus by a close friend, just by a show of hands? Yeah, you still got the tire tracks on your back, don't you? It's one of the most brutal feelings in the world to have somebody that you thought was close, and then all of a sudden you find yourself under the proverbial bus that's running you over, and all of a sudden you felt this shove from the back, and it was a close friend. But just by a show of hands, how many of you have ever had somebody close to you that stood back to back and had your backside and protected you no matter what? Just by a show of hands, yeah. That's one of the greatest feelings in the world. It's one of those things where, man, you feel like you're all alone. All of a sudden you look behind and there's somebody back there that says, I've got your back. I'm protecting you. I'm going for you. I'm with you no matter what. No matter who attacks you, I've got your back. I believe in you. I'm trusting you. I know your heart. I know your character. I know your integrity. I know this is a bad situation, but I'm not leaving no matter what happens. Now, I've had people in my life, man, especially the past several years, man, I've had some individuals, man, one of them in particular is here in this room, and he knows who he is, that he has, man, he's had my back. When it's so easy that to call yourself a real friend, then all of a sudden they're getting attacked, and it's easy to just go, man, this is not my problem. Good luck with all that. But a real friend goes, no, this isn't my problem, but you are my friend, and so I'm here no matter what. You want people in your life like that. You want people in your life that protect you, that have your back, that encourage you, that are with you no matter what. When it feels like the rest of the world is attacking you, you look behind you and someone goes, I'm not leaving. I'm not walking away. I'm here no matter what. Real friends, they protect you. Real friends, they have your back. Our two middle kids, David and Kara, the best way to describe them is Bonnie and Clyde. That makes sense? Like they're just constantly getting in trouble, and they are as thick as thieves. And if you've ever wanted to see somebody have each other's back, just watch David and Kara. I mean, they just constantly getting in trouble, but they never sell each other out. A couple years ago, Brianna was at home, Daniel was somewhere, and Micah was teeny tiny, and Brianna walks into the kitchen, and there's literally a brand new box of cookies earlier that day, completely empty, just destroyed. She goes to the two culprits, David and Kara. Did you eat the box of cookies? Nope. Both of them. Nope, we did not eat the cookies. Brianna goes, I know you ate the cookies. You're the ones that they were there. I know you ate the cookies. And this chick there, nope, no, we didn't eat them. Brianna goes, I know you ate the cookies. And Kara goes, no, you don't. Brianna goes, how do you know I don't? I knew you ate the cookies. And Kara goes, no, you didn't see us. Brianna goes, what do you mean you didn't see? And David's just over there just like, yeah, whatever she says, I'm with her. Kara, and Brianna goes, well, what do you mean? And Kara goes, because we closed the door. And David's just like, yeah, that's what we did, Ma. Yeah, that way. You want somebody that has your back. You want somebody that, man, if it's going down, we're going down together. Man, we're in this together. That is what a real friend does. A quote-unquote friend, a surface, friend on the outside, man, when the heat is on, I'm backing out because it's a little thick, it's a little rough. But a real friend goes, man, I'm with you no matter what. And Solomon goes, this is what brings great meaning to life. You don't want to go through life at arm's length and just going, man, I got burned once, and so everybody's just kind of a surface, shallow friend. You want to risk the messiness in order to experience the meaning that is forged from those deep, meaningful friendships. In the very last verse, in verse 12, he says, 3 are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. A triple braided cord is not easily broken. Now, what's interesting is that Solomon did not use the metaphor of a chain. He didn't say friendship is like a chain, because we all know that a chain is as strong as its weakest link. He used a triple braided cord. A cord that is wrapped around each other time and time again. This is what real friendship is, what real community is. And this weekend is our group launch weekend. Now, we've got all sorts of different ways to get connected. Men's groups, women's groups. There's a women's gathering this Wednesday night. Again, flag football, fly fishing. People meet at Starbucks in the morning. There's groups in homes that look at DVDs. There's in-depth Bible studies. Because here's the thing, what we've realized is the form of the group, how it looks, when it meets, where it meets, on a football field or in a coffee shop or in a classroom, that doesn't matter. What matters are what those groups are centered around and connected to. And so all of those groups are centered around Jesus. That's it. All of those groups, men, women, married, young, old, in homes, celebrate recovery, and it doesn't really matter. They all center around Jesus, because here's what we've found, that if individuals will connect their lives to Jesus and however they look, and if Jesus is at the center of it, then everything from there falls into place. But if Jesus isn't the center, then it's like, well, it's a nice group, but man, as soon as difficult times happen, as soon as it is, it's easy to get frazzled. But if the people are connected on Jesus, then it's a triple braided cord. Now, what you need to know about braiding a cord, if it's been a minute since you've braided, braiding is not one rope doing all the work. This is not braiding. It's not like, oh man, there's one person doing all the work and making all the effort and all the sacrifice. That is not braiding. It's not 2 cords just kind of wrapping around like this, and then the third one's just kind of brought along the side. That's not braiding either. A triple braided cord is when all 3 are connected to Jesus, and all 3 of them are doing their part. And all 3 of them are there to reach out and help. They are there to protect each other. They are there to make each other better human beings, better followers of Jesus. And a triple braided cord, when it's done correctly and it's centered on Jesus, is one of the most life-changing, strong things you'll ever been a part of. Because you and I both know that life has so much stress and pressure and so many things pulling on you and pulling on me. But it's just life. And a triple braided cord, when people go, and Jesus is at the head of it, we're intertwined, we're humbly walking together, we're helping each other out, we have each other's backs, we're making each other better followers of Jesus. Then when the pressures of life come, when the stresses of life come, it's not easily broken. That's what Solomon is saying. He's going, listen, you don't want to go through life all alone. You can, but there's a lack of meaning and a lack of purpose. I mean, you can make it on your own just fine. But it's a lot stronger in life when it is triple braided together. That's what Solomon says. Isolation, you can do it. It's a lot easier, cleaner, neater, but it's meaningless. He says you want meaning and purpose, you've got to risk the messiness of relationships. It's to reach out and help. It's to make each other better human beings. It's to protect each other's back when it seems like the whole world is collapsing around. That is real friendship. And this is what we want you to grasp. It's the beauty of the church. You know, Solomon used a triple braided cord. The Apostle Paul used the human body. The whole point is all of us are coming together. When one hurts, we all hurt. When one rejoices, we all rejoice. It's the intertwining of human beings all connected by Jesus. And however that looks, whatever group format that takes shape, it doesn't really matter. What's important is Jesus at the center, and the human beings are humbly intertwining with each other. But here's the truth of the matter. I would love to paint a beautiful picture and go, a triple braided cord, if this happens, man, you will never experience disappointment again. Human beings will never let you down. I'd love to say that I'll never get burned by another coffee pot in my life, but the truth of the matter is I probably will. And human beings will probably disappoint you. Somebody that you thought had your back, you look back and all of a sudden they're gone. That is going to happen. It happened to Jesus. On the night when he was crucified, the night when he was under the greatest amount of stress and pressure, and literally the weight of the world is on his shoulders, Judas Iscariot sold him out for 30 pieces of silver, which is equivalent to about $200 to $300 in today's dollars. Peter denied him 3 times, and the rest of the disciples, the scripture says, deserted him and left him. The 12 guys that he had poured his life into for 3.5 years literally sold him out for a few $100, denied him 3 times, and the rest of them just tucked tail and ran. And what did Jesus do in return? He washed their feet and then died for the entire world that night. Next. That's what Jesus did in return. The cool thing about being a follower of Jesus is that, yes, human beings may let you down. They may disappoint. You might, be intertwined, but all of a sudden, whoa. I mean, there's some risk there. There's some message you have to walk through, and it's certainly worth the meaning. But the beautiful thing about following Jesus, and it doesn't matter your upbringing, what you've experienced with human beings, is that Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And there is a promise in Scripture that he will never leave us nor forsake us. And so when you connect your life to Jesus Christ, he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's not going to walk out on you. He's not going to break promises. He's not going to be there one day and gone tomorrow. He is there no matter what. I'll finish with this, and it's what the writer of Hebrews talks about. And this writer of Hebrews, he actually quotes Moses and then King David. He says in Hebrews 13, verse 5 and 6, he says, "For God has said, I will never fail you, I will never abandon you." So we can say with confidence, "The Lord is my helper, so I will have no fear. What can mere people do to me? I will never leave you, I will never forsake you." People may. It's a risk you and I have to take as human beings, but it's so worth it. But the good thing about being connected to Jesus is that he said he will never leave us nor forsake us. He won't fail us or abandon us. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And so when you walk through life, the truth is, with Jesus, you never walk alone. Let me pray for us. With every head bowed and every eye closed. And I know some of you here in this room, you're followers of Jesus, but you're like many of us. You've been hurt by human beings. And it's super easy to put your guard up and to keep everybody at arm's distance and go, "Oh, I'm not so sure." I get it, and I get it. I'm just telling you that the meaning found with great friendships, great relationships, it's worth the risk. Maybe you've sat on the sideline for a while, and today you go, "Man, for far too long I've sat on the sideline." And you don't have an answer to that proverbial question of what happens when your world falls apart at 2 o'clock in the morning. Who do you call? You're going, "I'm not so sure who would answer my call." Maybe today you just go, "Lord, bring somebody into my life, bring real friends in my life." Lord, help me be the real friend to the people that are in my life currently. Just as those of you that are following Jesus are praying through that, if you're here in this room and you've never trusted Jesus, man, I get some of your upbringings. There's nobody that has kept a promise to you. There's mother issues, father issues, so many relationship issues, and you just kind of put that on top of Jesus and go, I'm sure he's the same way. I just want to tell you as your friend, with Jesus, there is a promise that he will never leave you nor forsake you. If you've never experienced the love of God, the love that you really can't possibly understand or put into words, you can today. The Bible is super clear. It says all who call upon the Lord will be saved. If you're ready to trust Jesus, say something like this. Just say, today, Jesus, I trust you. I ask your forgiveness for all my sins. Jesus, I believe you died on the cross, that you were buried, and you came back to life. So Jesus, I'm placing my faith in you for the salvation of my soul. Help me to live for you from this day forward. Father, I pray for everybody in this room that when it comes to human beings, when it comes to human interactions, we would look at you. You gave up your divine privileges in heaven, came to earth, walked among us, lived among us, got hurt by other human beings, but still washed their feet and died on the cross for the world. Lord, my prayer is that we would look at you. We would see that you risked it, that we would do the same. We'd find great meaning in friendships. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.